Hello everyone! When John Witherspoon died on October 29, 2019, it wasn't just a comedian the world lost. It was a heartbeat, a father figure, a teacher of humor and humanity, whose laughter carried generations through pain, poverty, and pressure. And for Ice Cube, the man who wrote words that John made legendary, the loss was something he never fully recovered from. In the heart of South Central stories, in the rhythm of the Friday movies, there lived a man whose voice could turn a moment of silence into a room full of joy, a man whose eyes carried both sorrow and mischief, who knew that comedy was not escape, it was survival. And for Cube, who had grown up turning his real experiences into rhymes and scripts, John Witherspoon was the kind of actor you never had to direct. Because he knew, he felt, he understood what it meant to make struggle look funny without losing its truth. Friday wasn't supposed to be just a comedy. Cube wrote it as a love letter to his neighborhood, to the people who taught him wisdom in ways no school could. And when John walked in to play Pops, he didn't just act. He embodied the voice of every black father, every hard-working man who carried his pain in silence, but still found a way to laugh. Those who were there on set say the chemistry between Cube and John was instant, like two souls who had been waiting to tell the same story from different sides of the mirror. Cube the young visionary, John the seasoned soul with timing sharper than a blade, humor flowing like jazz. Between takes, John would drop stories about old Hollywood, about being broke, about struggling through decades before anyone gave him a real shot, and Cube, always listening, always learning, soaked it all in. They built a bond that wasn't loud or forced. It was unspoken, like family. When Cube brought him back for next Friday, and Friday after next, it wasn't out of nostalgia, it was respect. Because John was the foundation, the spirit of the film, the Pops who connected the audience to something deeper than laughter. His lines, "Don't go into the bathroom for 35 to 45 minutes," or "You win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day," became part of the culture, phrases that transcended film and became generational wisdom. But when John died, Cube didn't post a long eulogy or make a spectacle. He went quiet, mourning in the way men like him often do, alone, reflective, searching through old footage, phone calls, behind-the-scenes reels, the kind of moments too personal to share. People said there was footage they buried, but what really happened was that Cube, out of love, out of protection, refused to let those raw moments be exploited by an industry that forgets how to respect the dead. Behind those vaults, in Cube's private collection, are reels of John off-script, joking with crew members, hugging castmates, laughing until tears streamed down his face. And those are treasures, not secrets. Cube once said that every frame of John's work carried soul, and when you lose a man like that, you don't just lose an actor, you lose a teacher, a heartbeat. After John's death, Cube struggled with Last Friday, a project meant to reunite the family one last time, but it stalled, trapped in studio disputes, rewrites, and heartbreak, because how do you finish a story when the man who made it real is gone? Studios pushed, fans begged, but Cube resisted, because for him, to rush that film without Pops would be betrayal. He said it straight. "I'm not doing it unless it feels right, and without John, it'll never feel the same." And that's what people don't understand. This wasn't just business for Cube. This was blood. He'd seen too many greats fade away without the recognition they deserved, and he refused to let John become another name lost in time. After the funeral, where Cube stood quietly, away from cameras, his face unreadable but his heart heavy, friends said he stayed behind, looking at the casket longer than anyone, whispering something nobody could hear. Maybe gratitude, maybe apology, maybe just goodbye. He later said that John was one of the few people who could humble him, who could make him laugh when he was angry, who could remind him that even legends need to relax and breathe. And now, years later, whenever Cube revisits those films, he feels that ache again. The laughter that once filled the set now echoes like a ghost, the energy gone but not forgotten. Fans often ask him to release the unreleased Friday footage, but Cube protects it like a family heirloom, because those aren't just bloopers. Those are sacred memories of a man who gave his all, who poured his soul into every frame, who showed up for the culture long before the culture showed up for him. Ice Cube, who built his life on telling the truth, has carried this silent truth since John's passing. But it can also
that comedy
haunt.
can heal.
And that behind every laugh there's a story of someone who used humor to hide the pain. In the years since, Cube has spoken about legacy more than fame, about purpose more than power. And when he talks about John, his voice changes. It softens, like he's remembering a father, not a co-star. The Friday franchise may have made millions, but its real wealth lies in the bond between those who made it. The brotherhood, the laughter, the struggle, the pride. John Witherspoon was more than a comic genius. He was proof that greatness doesn't always come loud or celebrated. Sometimes it comes in the form of a man who worked for decades, who broke barriers quietly, who taught the world to laugh without shame. And for Ice Cube, every project since has been a tribute, not by name, but by spirit. Because what they built together wasn't just film history, it was family history. So when people say there's footage they tried to bury, they miss the real story. That some memories aren't buried, they're protected, guarded by those who understand their worth. And for Cube, the footage isn't a scandal. It's a sanctuary, a living memory of a man who made him better, funnier, wiser, realer. In the end, Ice Cube's silence isn't hiding, it's healing. He's kept John's laughter alive in his own way, through his art, his interviews, his tributes, his refusal to let Hollywood rewrite the meaning of brotherhood. And though John Witherspoon is gone, his presence lives in every street corner that still quotes Pops, in every father who teaches his kids how to laugh through struggle, in every filmmaker who remembers that truth will always outlast fame. And so Ice Cube continues, older now, wiser, more reflective, carrying the spirit of his friend like a flame that refuses to go out. Because some bonds don't die when the cameras stop rolling. They become eternal, whispered through generations, carried in laughter, and remembered by those who understand that real love, real art, and real brotherhood are the only things that never fade away. Thanks for watching.